Good evening, everybody. This is Mike Tedesco of Wrestleview.com.
And Victoria Tedesco.
Yes, welcome to Post Raw number 106. It's Thanksgiving week. It's going to be a different Thanksgiving than we're used to. But nonetheless, the holidays are upon us. And I can't help but be in a good mood when the holidays are upon us. Even
holidays.
Even with COVID holidays and even after watching wrestling, it's still
even after
nothing can get me down. Nothing can get me down. In fact, last night on the after Doug's little watch along, it wasn't really little, it was like 5 hours long, but after the pay-per-view was over, I came down. I actually talked Doug off a ledge about, because he was pretty down on the product there, and I brought him back.
You brought him back.
I'm the one.
That is shocking, actually. No, it is, because you're very not into wrestling right now. So
No, I wasn't sure.
You're into the show, though. You're into the post-Raw show.
I'm into the post-Raw show. I love recapping, but man, wrestling is getting tough right now. Let's say hello to everybody in the chat room right now. Before we get started here, this is post-Raw number 106, by the way. 106.
You did say that before.
Did I already?
You did, yeah.
Oh, well. If you're watching us for the first time, please like us, subscribe to us, do the whole thing. All right. I want to, so we got CJ Bowman in the chat room tonight.
Hello,
I have to wish CJ, again, he wasn't on the show last week, partly because it was his birthday last week on November 16th.
You know what? I haven't been on Facebook, so I haven't, really, if anybody's birthday, I apologize. I haven't been able to wish them a happy birthday. Happy birthday, CJ.
Yes, a happy belated birthday to our dear friend CJ Bowman, good friend of the show. Dylan Lowe in the chat room tonight. Hello, is the watch along and review going up on Spotify? Watch along is too long to go up on Spotify, but we could probably clip the review. And get that going there. We got Quentin Walters in the chat room tonight.
Hello, everybody.
Hello. I understand it. So I just saw before. It says Quentin said that he was out of the hospital and recovering well. I don't know anything that happened to Quentin. Did you hear anything?
No. What's going on with everybody?
Quentin, what's going on, man? You all right? We hope you're all right. But he said he did a little spell in the hospital and he's okay now. Oh, King of Hueco Mundo in the chat. Raw was good, lots of action. Uncle Billy in the chat room. Hi all. Andrew Elder, our buddy, in the chat room as well.
Hi, everybody. Sorry, I'm getting distracted because I'm looking at Liliana right now, and I'm like, stay down, kid.
Stay down. Stay down.
But hello, everyone.
We got Nafis Sadat, our dear friend.
Hello,
Nafis
everyone.
is in the chat room tonight. I'm loving on Nafis, our buddy, our good pal. Jorge Oliva. Jorge Oliva is in the chat room tonight.
Hello.
All right. We're digging it. Let's see. Anybody? Mashun Walls in the chat room.
Hello.
Mashun. All right. So, we have, obviously, this Raw to talk about. We have to mention a little bit about Survivor Series.
Yeah, a little bit, sure.
I want to know your thoughts on the show, which
Yeah.
most decidedly was, other than the Undertaker thing, which I loved it. I personally...
You personally liked it, yeah.
Loved the Undertaker thing. I loved the 10 bell salute to Paul Bearer. I loved the hologram of Paul Bearer being there.
Yeah. That was a nice touch.
A lot of people did not like that they brought out all those people, which took about 15 minutes. And
okay, so to kind of I'm not going to say go against it, to kind of just give a different perspective on that, when people were saying that, I think that, it's something probably Undertaker actually appreciated and really may have genuinely wanted, you know what I mean? So I think that, you have to kind of keep that in mind in terms of when you do something like this, you yourself may not think it was good, but I think for that individual, it's probably everything that he wanted and probably everything that he kind of needed to give him, it's just it's a nice recognition of how many years he's put into this company.
30.
30. And it's just something that you should commend and celebrate and, okay, maybe a little bit long for sure. But I think for the individual.
You were 7 months old when The Undertaker debuted.
That's crazy.
7 months
That's
old.
crazy. That really is. That's
Now
insane.
you have a baby.
And now I have a baby.
You're married to me.
Yeah, well, whatever.
Not everything works out.
But do you know what I'm saying? I think for the individual, like, we kind of have to think about the individual. I think for him, this was good, and I think he enjoyed it.
This was perfect for the Undertaker. Shortly after, as soon as the pay-per-view ended, they had the second round of the Broken Skull sessions with Steve Austin and the Undertaker, and Undertaker said, if it were up to him, kayfabe would never die. So for him to come in November 22nd, 1990 as the Dead Man, and now November 22nd, 2020, he leaves as the Dead Man, that's perfect. I don't think I would have liked it as much if, Undertaker comes out full costume, pyro, the whole spiel, and does the salute, takes off the hat, and then just goes, all right, I'm Mark Calloway, and I want to thank everybody for all the great years, and da-da-da. It's like that would just ruin it.
I agree.
That's what the Hall of Fame induction ceremony will be for when they eventually do that. Now, is it a total bummer? I talked about this with Doug last night. Do you think it was like a complete bummer that there was no people there, or did you like not really?
No, I don't think. I mean, I think, of course, ideally you always want your fans there, right? And because the fans are what make you, to a degree. But I think that in this particular case, he'll have his moment again, because this was, again, a celebration of his time with the company and his debut, right?
Mm-hmm.
But he's not necessarily like, he will be in the Hall of Fame. He will be inducted one day. The time will come where he could be with the fans and they can acknowledge his accomplishments as well. But there was something truly special about it being, 30 years to the day that this debut occurred, So
It is pretty cool.
So to kind of go full circle is amazing. So I think fans are not. I think that it...
Yeah. It's like...
You want the fans, of course, no doubt about it. But at the same time, though, he will have his moment with the fans. This is just kind of another reason to celebrate him.
30 years of, wrestling, of all that time he gave to the company. It's a real bummer. I mean, like, this pandemic has taken away so much from us, and, obviously not comparing someone's professional wrestling career, which is literally just acting, with, theatrics and ballet and stuff like that. And, as they say, it ain't ballet, but there is a little bit of a dance that goes on in there.
Yeah.
I'm not obviously not comparing it to, hold on. Do not restart my computer now.
Oh, no.
Don't do that.
Please don't do that.
We're going to do that at like 12:59 a.m. Go away. Wow.
Bye.
That would have sucked. Like, where did they
Good
go?
thing you saw that, though, because sometimes I don't see those notifications,
Well,
and then my
just
computer
popped up like right in my face.
No,
there.
I know, but then it shuts off, and I'm like, oops.
Well, anyway, I'm not comparing, like how much other people have lost to COVID, but it's like, it just stinks. It's just one more slap in the face of like of stuff that just got kind of taken away from us, especially like wrestling fans. Everybody loves the Undertaker. The Boneyard match was great, and it wound up being a blessing in disguise. I don't know if AJ Styles and the Undertaker were in the ring together, if they would have had as memorable and as good of a presentation as happened at WrestleMania in the Boneyard match.
Yeah, with the yeah, absolutely.
The cinematic match actually was played way better for him.
It did. They had a lot of.
But this pandemic has just gone on for like way too long, and it even took away now the Undertaker's final farewell.
Yeah,
that character deserves to be sent out.
It does
with full fanfare.
It does.
Not with piped in thank you Taker chants and this
I
and
agree.
that, which I thought was, which was fine. They did the best that they could to kind of recreate the atmosphere of a live audience, but when they're piping in "this is awesome" chants and
yeah, no,
whatever,
it's sad.
Bro chants, it's like it takes away.
I agree. I just I to me, like I said, because not, again, I didn't put 30 years into a career, but I celebrated 30th birthday this past April, right?
We couldn't even do,
You know, but I fully expect that when this is all over, that I want to have a 30th birthday party, you know,
no
a
doubt.
celebration. And I think that they will provide him with the proper sign off with the fans. So I think this will give him just a reason. Does it stink that it couldn't happen on the day they actually debuted 30 years later? 100%. But let's find a reason to really celebrate once fans can get back to the arenas.
Yeah.
Can back with, full crowd, and I think it will make it actually 10 times more special because we didn't get to do it initially. So let's really, really celebrate now and appreciate the moment that we're all together celebrating this man's career.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. They
have to do something.
And I personally like that they brought the legends out there, even though they weren't out there at the end, for this thing. I thought that was a really nice touch. I saw a lot of people riding Savio Vega for coming out, but he's part of that crew, so you gotta have him out there. So I just saw what happened to Mr. Quentin. Quentin said that he was rushed into the hospital last week for a blood clot near his heart, and he died twice. That's amazing. Like, Quentin's had one hell of a year with medical things, and thank God that you got to the hospital in time, Quentin. We're like, I had no idea. So
oh my God.
This is news to us, and we are really glad that you're with us. My God. That
holy
gave me
mackerel.
chills.
I'm actually speechless right now.
Man.
Quentin, can you message me later, please? Oh, I'll message you.
Quentin says that he's the new dead man, though.
Oh.
We do need an Undertaker replacement.
Oh.
His sense of humor is never lost.
No.
We got our.
Oh my God, Quentin, I'm messaging you later.
We got our buddy Jerome Weiland in the chat room tonight.
Hi,
we got
Jerome.
our buddy Daniel Shell in the chat room tonight. We also have Corey Howe, our dear buddy, in the chat room as well.
Quentin, I really sincerely, I'm having a delayed reaction. Like, honestly, I'm really glad that you're doing okay, and I feel very badly that you had to experience that. Seriously, that is not. Wow, yeah. I feel really bad.
Yeah, I know, it's terrible. So, anyway, I want to. I'm pretty sure they usually have WrestleMania at like the beginning of April. I'm thinking we're gonna do a live watch along of Monday Night Raw on April 5th, and that will be like a pseudo early birthday party for Victoria.
Oh, okay.
All right, so we'll at least get one, even though she'll be turning 31 later that week. We will have one pseudo 30th birthday party for Victoria on the air on Wrestleview in April.
So is April 5th the day? That's the Monday?
That's the Monday. So
when's my birthday? Thursday?
Yes.
Okay.
So is everybody in? Everybody in? All right. You're all invited. So please be there. We have plenty of time to figure this out. I'm planning another live watch along, probably the Raw after the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, that's what we were thinking.
I think that should be pretty fun. And we'll go from there. But I still really enjoyed Post Raw 100. I thought that was
so much fun.
Ton of fun.
And it was a very interesting time because we had like no furniture. And we're literally sitting there.
I know. It like of course, like the 100th episode came at like the worst time for us. And of course, April 5th is Billy's birthday as well, Uncle Billy.
Yes.
So we'll have to actually celebrate.
We'll have a dual birthday party. I'm good with that because it's Uncle Billy.
Corey Howe wants me to do a retro recap. Actually, that would be way better than anything that's going on right now.
You should do a retro recap.
I want to do the retro recaps again. I'm waiting for something to happen. For me to do this, but
yeah.
We do have there may or may not be a site redesign on Wrestleview coming up, and once we do that, I really wanted to start up a retro recap series, but we will see. Nafis really enjoyed the live watch along as well, so we can make this happen.
Yeah, that was fun.
Don't I get a happy 35th birthday? Mine's in March, Daniel Shell says.
Oh my God. Well, we can't celebrate everybody's birthday, but Daniel, yes, you can get a happy birthday.
Everybody will get a birthday. Don't worry, okay?
You know what I feel
Louis
like?
Feraldi in the chat room tonight.
Hi, Louis. I feel like it's when we're in school and everyone's like, "Let's buy this and whatever," and I'm like,
you know who I always felt bad for, like especially like if you're in choir. If it was your birthday or your birthday was like that week, everybody like the choir always sang happy birthday to you. But man, if you were like in July or August, you just got the one lumped in happy birthday at the end of the
I
year.
know.
Just like happy birthday to everybody that has a birthday in the summer.
We had the same thing for our kids. I know, at the end of the year. Well, but to be honest with you, my kids at the end of the year, we sing happy birthday to every single kid individually. We just like 10 happy birthdays in a row.
This year, I downloaded the birthday lists for everybody that was in my class, and I just emailed them all epic birthday, happy birthdays. Like on the last day of school, I was like, "Here, this takes care of you for the summer. Now go away and don't ever come back." All right, let's get to this Raw recap here. This Raw fallout from the Survivor Series, I was expecting a little more from this, to say the very least, but particularly from Drew McIntyre. He lost to Roman Reigns last night. He got choked out after some interference from Jey Uso. And I was like, okay, well, Drew McIntyre's got to come out here tonight and he's got to murder somebody, right? He's got to just crush somebody, get that momentum back. No Drew McIntyre whatsoever. But we did hear from Mr. Drew McInfart. What the hell happened there?
Okay, so
did they call him like Mackin' Fart backstage? And
that's what I'm saying.
Adam
like,
Pearce just
I
had a
agree with you.
fart.
I was going to say the same thing. I feel like, is this like not an inside joke, but like, do they call him something for him to slip like that? Because I'm really actually genuinely trying to think like of how do you go from Drew McIntyre to Drew McInfart?
That must be their nickname from backstage or something like
be.
that. It has to be.
Drew McIntyre has to address the issue.
Well,
he has to.
Adam Pearce, I thought addressed it beautifully. He put up a picture, like they always talk about how wrestlers have these things called a bump card, and when your bump card expires, it's over for you essentially. So he put up his bump card and showed that his had completely expired. Which I definitely appreciated. I thought it was pretty funny. Let me see if I can get this window capture up here. Come on up. Come on. Oop, not that. We don't want that there. I should probably bring it up. There you go.
Did you get it?
I'm getting it now, man.
Don't call me man.
There's his bump card. Apologies to Mr. McInfart, who is obviously the champion of something entirely different. And the big X over the final bump on his bump card.
Honestly,
he did get a pretty good welt from Braun Strowman there at the beginning of it.
Oh my god.
Drew McInfart. It's trending on Twitter.
It is trending on Twitter. But wait a minute. But seriously though, there has to be a nickname for him backstage, because I'm genuinely trying to think of like how you accidentally say McInfart. Oh my gosh. Wait, is that on the screen for everybody or now?
No, it's not yet. But I don't understand. I don't understand this one. It says some will get it.
It's okay.
Oh, Big Mac Entire.
McIntyre. Yeah.
Big McIntyre.
Yeah.
Got
it. Get it?
Drew Big McIntyre.
It's not. This is not good. Did you share with everybody?
Yeah, I'm showing it. It's there.
Oh, all right. I'm sorry. I don't know.
get that one.
I don't know.
I don't get it. But it's ringside.
Big McIntyre.
But it's ringside news, and they fucking suck. So.
They messaged me.
Did they?
Remember?
Oh, that's right. I remember that. They were trying to steal you away from us. Like they didn't realize that you were my wife.
Yeah.
And that you're probably not going to go anywhere.
What does everyone think?
Jerome goes, "What a gas."
That's a good one, Jerome.
That's good. King of Huecamundo wants to know how Bobby Lashley got that head cut against Keith Lee. Well, Bobby Lashley, when he scooped up Keith Lee on his shoulders and almost lost him, he drove him into the ring post, but Lashley fell to his knees and literally drove himself into the ring post and cut his friggin' eye. And that was a horrible match. And I got into it with Sam Roberts, of all people, tonight on Twitter. Because he was like, "Oh, that's the Drew McIntyre. That's the Drew McInfart. That's the Keith Lee I've been waiting to see. That Keith Lee. That was a great match. What a match." And I'm like, Sam, that finish? Were we watching the same match? That's what did it for you? I said, "Geez, Sam." And he goes, "Oh, well, it's not just about the DQ finish. There was aggression and da-da-da-da." I'm like, I didn't see anything. And I swear, I'm doubling down here. I didn't see a single thing from Keith Lee that I haven't already seen. Bad finish that doesn't protect him whatsoever. Been there, done that. Oh, a couple of grimacing facial features. Yeah, been there, done that. He does that crap all the time. You know, like yes, he absorbed a shoulder block and he was, oh, that's aggressive. Yeah.
I ruined the match. It was my fault, everyone.
Victoria put the
I totally
big
put the jinx on it because I was
match.
watching it. I'm not going to lie, I didn't watch the entire thing in the beginning. Like, I wasn't watching in the beginning, but then when I sat down again to watch Raw, I was looking at it and I'm like, oh, this is not a bad match, actually. And Mike's like, oh, yeah, okay. And then all of a sudden it just turned to hell after that. It completely took a turn and it was a different match than what I was looking at for the first like 2 minutes or so of watching it. It did. It really turned into a mess. It just got
sloppy as hell.
Yeah, it was. It was sloppy and the finish was terrible and then you know it was funny how you were talking about like the grimace like facial expressions. Yeah. They were just on high gear after I said like, "Oh, this isn't a bad match."
Yeah.
It turned up after that. The facial expressions really kind of
that stuff stuff from Lee where he's like,
yeah, I don't yeah, like almost
like, just takes me right out of it. They try so too hard on this show. You know, it's like sometimes like you know, I'll catch another podcast and you know, I mean I catch myself doing it too. It's like I don't even know why we talk about this show like it's a professional wrestling show anymore. It's anything but. There just happens to be choreographed fake fighting on this show, but it's really just a really horrible, almost always terribly acted soap opera. Like I don't even know why we spend time talking about it anymore. It's like crazy.
We like it.
We like it. We like it, and we love talking to
we
love talking to everybody on YouTube. But geez, it's like
now I know.
Like when I watch crap like that, it's like man, they do way too much.
Yeah, it really was disappointing, you know, because I actually thought that, and when you got into the little tiff with Sam Roberts, right?
Yeah.
You know, you want what's best for it, and like I said, in the beginning, I didn't watch from the beginning, but when I started watching it, right, it wasn't so bad. And then you thought it could have the potential to kind of turn it. I'm not going to say an outstanding match by any means, but you could think that it turned into like a decent match or a good match. But it really did. It just went from like 0 to 100 in the worst way possible.
Yeah.
Between the sloppiness and the facial expressions and the finish and everything, it was a mess.
Lashley
it wasn't
driving
cohesive.
his head with like
it's
300-pound Keith Lee on his back into the ring post.
Right. It turned and it was like
it just fell off the tracks, never got back.
Why?
Almost everything on this show was like missing something. So, for example, you know, the opening segment just never got out of first. Well, first of all, like I hate those talking segments, and I'm so tired of Team Raw to begin with. But man, that was just a really boring, bland way to start off the show. Ooh, Braun Strowman headbutted Adam Pearce. Oh, wow.
Yeah, like what? Like who cares?
What's the payoff there? What's that going to be?
No, that's exactly.
Oh, Strowman gets suspended for a month or whatever. So
like who cares?
What's he going to get his elbow cleaned up again? Like,
right.
Jesus, it's like I'm so tired of like. You know, it's like, oh, guy's injured, we gotta get him suspended.
But I think too,
disappear, go away.
I think the problem, and realistically, I think the issue was with the opening segment. Not again, usually those segments are not a hit to begin with, you know, when they have it like that. But I don't, except for the Taker, you know, last night, all that and that homage. Survivor Series wasn't all that great because nobody cares. Like nobody cares about the divide between Raw and SmackDown. So it's like, okay, Raw team wins. Yeah. They're bragging. They're whatever. It's like, does anyone really care at the end of the day? No. You're still going back to your same. It's going to be status quo now for the rest of the year until Survivor Series next year.
It's just, yeah, and then they reopen the playbook for brand supremacy again, and that'll be. Let's see, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. That'll be 6 years in a row of more of the same storyline. 6 years in a row? Yeah. Good Lord.
No, I agree. It just, it wasn't a good opening at all. It was boring and it didn't, and again, Strowman going into Pierce, it's like, at the end, who cares?
Jorge Oliva wants to know the status on the ThunderDome. The ThunderDome is moving to Tropicana Field in St. Pete in Florida, where the Tampa Bay Rays play. So they'll be there until March, until they get kicked out again because baseball is returning. So there's that. Tropicana Field, they'll be very happy to have WWE there every week because God knows when the Rays play, even though the Rays were in the World Series this year, they don't draw fans. They don't make a ton of money, so it'd be nice to get a little extra revenue stream there, particularly since baseball didn't make any money this year. So there you go. But continuing on with like how all this stuff fell at the tracks, like New Day versus the Hurt Business was a great tag match last week.
Yeah,
it was great.
This really shocked me.
New Day versus the Street Profits was an awesome match last night, but man, they had a really off night, and not only did Kofi and Xavier have an off night, Shelton Benjamin, who's always on, and Cedric Alexander, they had off nights too. Missed spots galore. There was an enormous botch. It happens every so often. So they've instructed their referees for years now to call the matches as shoots, and every now and then somebody gets lost in their match, and they're not listening to the referee, and the referee who's they give the referees zero credibility in this company, by the way. Zero. They treat them like they're buffoons. Most of the finishes that are planned are just make the referees look like such morons, such fools. Mm-hmm. But, you got to listen when I'm counting. That's the one time you have to listen to the referee. It's like, that's where we're going to make the referee important now?
Right.
Where it could actually hurt the flow of a push, of a match, of an entire TV show that is planned out, and timed specifically for certain things to happen at certain times.
Yeah.
So
I totally get what you're saying.
Yeah. So Kofi and Shelton Benjamin are outside, and you can hear the referee counting, but I don't think they're paying attention. And then all of a sudden they hear him get to 9, and they're like, you could see them both. Like Kofi, who was down selling, like gets up immediately, tries to get in the ring. It's a double count out. So the referee calls the match. Obviously this thing's supposed to go another segment. They get in the ring. The Hurt Business does. Mike Rome calls it, or whoever's ring announcing for Raw now, I don't even know. But whoever the ring announcer is calls it a double count out, and then they sheepishly say, the Hurt Business won by a count out. And then they're just scrambling. They're absolutely scrambling.
Yeah.
It was just that nobody knew what to do. And it's like, okay, this is like a title match. This is the first match on the Fallout show of Survivor Series. You want to set put our best foot forward.
Exactly. You want to put your best foot forward, and you want to.
Can we get rid of the referee has to call everything like a shoot?
Yes.
Now?
No. And
can we do that?
But I think you made it
killed the match, killed it, dead, and then they were so thrown off. They were missing spots left and right. The camera work was terrible throughout this match. It was like Xavier Woods was supposed to hit a baseball slide. He whiffed by like 10,000 feet on whoever he was supposed to hit. And the camera caught that entire thing. Usually they're not that sloppy with their camera work. This was a disaster.
Yeah.
Even the best teams have off nights. Well, and it just so happened all 4 of these guys had an off night. This stunk.
Yeah, no, I was very shocked by how both matchups really did take place, only because, like you mentioned before, it's so not within, you know what I mean? Yeah, whatever. I don't even know. Probably. It's so not like them, so it's shocking, and you kind of what stinks about it is you kind of count on those guys to perform and give you that match.
Sure.
Right? You look forward to them, like when you, especially that, particularly during these times, like somebody like the New Day and the Street Profits and, the Hurt Business who, have been doing well for themselves, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like you really want them to kind of be able to fulfill that expectation. But like you said, it's just that everybody has an off night, and it just happens to be one of those nights where literally every participant had an off night.
They were off.
So it's like disappointing only because you're like, you rely on them to give you those good matches.
Well, they put him out there. They plug him in because it's like, oh, just put the New Day and the Hurt Business out there. Well, they had a great match last week. We'll just throw them out there again.
Right.
They'll have another good match, and that'll be an easy 2 segments to fill up.
Exactly.
And then we can try to figure out the rest of the
Absolutely.
BS.
So you rely on those, right? But then when that doesn't work, you're like, really? That's the one thing I was kind of actually looking forward to. Because when I watch,
they didn't promote anything.
No.
So
no, it would have
been nice if they promoted this match so that we would know that's happening. So maybe more people would want to tune in.
What I'm saying,
but they would have been disappointed. So I guess that's why you don't advertise.
I guess so. But what I am saying is though.
Show?
No, not even the advertisement piece of it, but even like a second before you find out that they're actually going to have a matchup, you're like, oh yeah, cool. Like, okay, the Hurt Business and the New Day, awesome. That's going to be a great match. And then when it's not, you're even more disappointed. And especially when, with like a lame opening, right? And then something like this occurs, it's like, oh God, is this where the night's heading? If our best wrestlers right now, who always entertain and give us good matches aren't having a good night, how's the rest of the night gonna look?
Yep.
Well,
so Adam Pearce is backstage with that big knot on his head and calls Drew McIntyre Drew McInfart and books that was so ridiculous.
That was indicative of the night, though. McInfart was indicative of the night.
See, I would show the video here, but I know that YouTube will flag us for that, and I am not getting fucking flagged over Drew McInfart. I'm telling you that right now.
Yeah, so no, it's not.
You can look it up later.
Look it up later. We assure you it did happen.
It definitely happened. Drew McInfart happened. Initiator in the chat room. Hello, Initiator.
Hello.
So Adam Pearce announces that we'll have 3 singles matches tonight, and the winner will face Drew McIntyre for the WWE Championship at some point, probably TLC. They didn't say that specifically, but that's what it looks like.
It looks like it's heading there.
First match was Riddle versus Sheamus. And for as bad as the New Day versus the Hurt Business was, this match was off the charts awesome. Absolutely awesome. Riddle and Sheamus just have tremendous chemistry. Really. They had a great match a couple weeks ago on Raw, even though I'm not really into Riddle until this whole, until everything's kind of cleared up. But this was I can't say enough about this match. It was great. This was the best thing on the show by far, and nothing could approach it. Nothing that came before it could approach it. Nothing came after it could approach it. It just, this dominated the show. That's the only thing that I was thinking of.
See, when I first started watching wrestling, right?
Jamel's in the chat room.
Hey, Jamel. When I first started watching wrestling, Sheamus really actually stood out to me. I really liked his character, and I liked his moveset, and I really just enjoyed him as an individual. Mm-hmm. And I can say I've always enjoyed a good Sheamus match, especially when he has a partner who could equally as perform, right?
Yeah, a guy who hits hard.
Yeah,
that's Sheamus. Sheamus is all over that.
Sheamus is really good for that. I like not every. I'm not gonna say every single match, but I will say this: about 90% of the time, I can say. Can you get me one too? About 90% of the time, I always look forward to a Sheamus match. And you know how you mentioned before with like Matt Riddle until everything kind of gets settled down? I really did have to take myself out of that because I am, unfortunately, like I look at him and immediately I think of negativity just because I really want for it to not, be true with the accusations and everything. Thank you. But it's so hard for me to until everything does fully get resolved to really look at him and say ooh, but I will say this though, even if I don't like him as a person, and like I said, hopefully, it's not the case of what they're accusing him of, right? But when I take away that out of the equation, I'm just looking at the two individuals in the ring, and they put on an amazing match.
Yes,
and
if you're a fan of professional wrestling, you like this match. I looked on Twitter. I didn't see one bad comment about this match. It was just good. It was.
I didn't know you were going with it for a second. No, it was, and I think, like I said, I particularly like Sheamus a lot. and I do
I'm a
look
Sheamus guy.
I
I've always
look
been a Sheamus
forward
guy.
to matches with him. But when he does have a partner who can equally as perform in the way that Riddle did tonight, in particular, it's great. And like I said, I just personally, for myself, I had to take away not. I almost had to pretend it wasn't Riddle in there. You know what I mean? Just this guy who just because I
see, I love when wrestling's so good that it can make me forget about like all the other crap going on,
exactly.
and
That's
I forgot.
Yeah,
it was what it was. But this was just excellent. I really thought, and I was really surprised that they put Riddle over in this one, and it was a great scrappy win for him because he was getting crushed this entire time, and they were hitting each other super hard. It was great. It was just awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, what Doug was saying last night. We were talking about like what's next for Drew McIntyre? Is it going to be like Sheamus? Like, are they going to hot shot that thing?
Yeah.
And we were saying, probably going to happen at TLC, but we were wrong here. So Sheamus is out of this triple threat match.
Crazy.
And Riddle is in it. So Sheamus versus Drew McIntyre can wait a little while longer, and I'm happy about that. Give that story time to build.
Yeah, I do
because
enjoy
even Sheamus, like in the opening segment, even mentioned like, "Congratulations, Drew McIntyre, for being a 2-time WWE champion," and this and that. They should be a tag team for a little while.
Yeah.
Like Drew McIntyre doesn't always have to defend the WWE title. You can also, have tag matches or whatever.
Yeah. I would enjoy that too because I eventually would like to see that matchup, but like you said, let's just put the brakes on it a little bit. Like let's not give everything away so fast, so quick, Give that element of like, oh, maybe one day in the future that could be a really good matchup. But for now, let's maybe partner them up or, maybe whatever you want to do, but kind of like look into that in a little bit of the future as opposed to just giving something like that away. And you know what? It does in theory, like obviously Sheamus is already well established as a wrestler. Riddle's just coming up into the company. Give somebody else the opportunity to kind of showcase.
There's a lot you can do. Like I always loved like, any match where, two rivals are forced to team up for some specific reason. Like, at TLC, like why does Drew McIntyre have to even face anybody at that won this triple threat? It's like why can't Drew McIntyre team up with Sheamus to take on Randy Orton and The Fiend, with the winning team gets to be numbers 29 and 30 in the Royal Rumble, and
like
the
that
losing team has to be numbers 1 and 2 or something like that. Just something,
that stipulation.
Like some kind of stipulation. Like I feel like everything is just so predictable and so basic, and just like, okay, well, we just got to get through this. And I'm tired of like,
you're tired of just like, let's just get through it just to get through it.
Like I feel like when I watch this show sometimes, like I just got to get through it. But I don't feel like they should be writing the same way that I feel watching it.
Well, remember how you were saying a few weeks ago with TLC is the next pay-per-view, right?
King of Huecamundo says you're on point tonight too, by the way.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. TLC is the next pay-per-view?
Yeah.
Right?
5 days before Christmas, they're so talk about Zelina Vega getting fired.
Okay.
And, she's talking about unionization and stuff like that. She's got a great point for unionization. I mean, who else other than a company that truly doesn't give a fuck about their employees would put so many of their stars in tables, ladders, and chairs matches 5 days before Christmas so they can go to the holidays all sore and banged up for a pay-per-view that traditionally no one really watches anyway?
Well, I remember saying this a few weeks ago, and this kind of has to do. Remember, you literally just said like a second ago about going through things to go through.
Yeah,
things.
it's like, it's December, time for TLC.
Right. So
it's
and we
There's
spoke
no point.
and we spoke about it in length. Like I don't mind.
There's no feud that warrants a TLC match right now. None.
No, and
it takes away from the gimmick.
Why are we having the sake of again? I don't want to have
because they're lazy. They've been lazy booking for years.
No, absolutely.
Ever since they invented the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view in 2009, it's been downhill from there. When they started bringing gimmick pay-per-views and got rewarded with initial views because people just like
yeah,
the
it was
gimmicks.
just new. Yeah, of course. But gimmicks,
but they watered them down.
Yeah,
and
of
now
course.
the gimmicks are worth nothing.
Yeah, no.
What kind of match could you make that's better than than Elimination Chamber or Hell in a Cell?
A TLC match, it doesn't warrant it if it doesn't warrant it. I don't want to have this. I want it to happen organically. If it's going to warrant a table, a ladder, or a chair, I want that to just happen. You know what I mean? Or like once in a blue moon, not a whole pay-per-view dedicated and devoted to it. So no, I don't think we should just be getting through things just to get through things. But unfortunately, that's where we are. So
yeah,
that's just where we're used to. I mean, they really have to kind of like reset the wheel on that. But
and then you watch like NXT, and it's such for the most part, it's a pretty decent show. They try hard every week. They get their 2 hours, and they try to put their best foot forward, and they build up to special episodes. Like the Halloween Havoc was just tremendous, really really tremendous. And I just saw Andrew Elder mention they should have Starrcade in December. Like bring back another old WCW pay-per-view concept, and do that. Like there's some valid stuff, that's just sitting out there. There's some valid matches that haven't been done in years that, you could do that would make sense in certain spots. But a TLC match just for the sake of having a TLC match, no thanks. Do something else.
Well, a whole pay-per-view devoted to it. Yeah, it's not.
As Jamel says, Merry Christmas. Here's some Advil and Icy Hot.
Yeah, really.
Love Vince.
Yeah. No, it's very true. It's very, very true. But I did enjoy this match tonight, and
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, this was a tremendous match. After that, we had a little bit of the Firefly Funhouse. Basically, Alexa Bliss and Bray Wyatt talked about this evil and vile thing called friendship and how it's no good. They brought in a new puppet called the Friendship Frog, who says friendship lasts forever, and he believes that indubitably. I love that word, indubitably.
So Mike and I came to the realization that the Firefly Funhouse is based off of Elmo's world.
Yeah.
Because Liliana just started watching Sesame Street, and it has the same background. Yep. And the same thing with the puppets and those characters.
Except on Firefly Funhouse, they murdered the frog, and they most assuredly do not do any murder on Sesame Street. So, indubitably. But there actually was a really, really funny thing where they did this like little after they killed the frog, little Mr. Friendship Frog, which was actually quite sad, I have to say.
I don't like stuff like okay, again,
poor guy.
I like obviously the Firefly Funhouse, and I like Alexa Bliss and Bray Wyatt together, right?
Mm-hmm.
I like the whole storyline. I don't like the creature component though.
I know they keep killing like Ramblin' Rabbit.
I said that a few weeks ago.
Killed the Friendship Frog.
Why are we doing that?
But they did this great thing where they started showing pictures of tadpoles and the Friendship Frog graduating from college, and then it said Friendship Frog 1980 to 2020.
No, it's not nice. See, I don't like stuff like
funny.
that.
It was pretty funny. But anyway, So that was the Firefly Funhouse. It like I generally enjoy the segments. It's when they get in between the ropes and the bell rings that they lose me. The Fiend will just it's impossible to have a good match with the Fiend. I'm sorry. Like you if people can try to pull out examples of, oh, well, this was good with Daniel Bryan. It's like, yeah, well, it's Daniel Bryan. He can pull magic out of the hat anytime he wants. But really, there's nothing like the Seth Rollins stuff was a disaster. The Braun Strowman stuff was a disaster. The Goldberg stuff was a disaster. The Miz thing was not good at all. It just hasn't been good. And at the end of the day, the wrestling still kind of matters. So, wow. Like Jamel even saying, like Cyber Sunday and Taboo Tuesday should be brought back. Absolutely, give the fans do a couple matchups and have the fans vote. Like especially now where everybody has an app, that has a smartphone. Like they were doing Taboo Tuesday, and you were having to log in, on dial-up or whatever to
put your vote in.
Your vote in, and they were getting flooded with votes. Like they could easily do that. That's like a no-brainer.
They used to wait, but again, not super super long ago. But when I first started watching, they were doing like, what type of match do you want to see tonight?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they don't do that anymore. Raw Women's Championship: Asuka versus Lana. Asuka gave Lana a championship match after Lana was the sole survivor last night. And this match went 2.5 seconds before Jax and Baszler caused DQ, which led to Asuka and Lana beating Jax and Baszler after Asuka rolled up Shayna Baszler. So that happened. This sucked to high hell. It was just brutal.
The women's
Sad to
division.
watch. And the scary thing is Asuka and Lana probably in line for a women's tag team title shot at TLC. That's whatever Victoria's doing, this spastic whatever, that's how I feel about the prospect of watching Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler defend their titles against Asuka and Lana.
Why? Just why?
I don't know. It was so bad.
I'm so disappointed in the division right now. I really genuinely am very, very disappointed in the division. I don't know how to resolve it. I really don't. I don't.
Well, number one, they should have plugged in Rhea Ripley a long time ago on this division. Like she was there for WrestleMania, she lost, and then you never saw her on Raw or SmackDown ever again.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they need her. They need her more than NXT needs her. Keith Lee versus Bobby Lashley, we already talked about that. It just wasn't good. Nikki Cross versus Alexa Bliss. So this is Alexa Bliss playing the role of Bray Wyatt in female form. She's much more adorable than Bray Wyatt. But this, again, like if that's now what it's going to be, with like Alexa now, no selling offense, and I don't know. I didn't feel this one.
No, I know what you mean. Well, let's put it this way. If it was one of those things where it was kind of like every once in a while, right? She did something kind of like cutesy like that and was just playing games, right? And again, this might have been like a one-off type thing because it's Nikki Cross and like they were best friends, and so we kind of have to keep that in mind. But the way that WWE works, it may not be a one-off type thing. They're like, oh, that was good, like let's do it all the time, because it worked. See, well, here's the thing. For me, it worked tonight because of Nikki. It was Nikki Cross.
Yeah.
And again, they were a tag team for a while. They're friends, so Nikki Cross really wanted to get through to Alexa Bliss and really knock the Fiend out of her, right?
Yep.
That was fine. Like, to me, like, it was fine. It was effective. It did its thing. And Alexa Bliss did look great doing the whole, like, whatever. Obviously very predictable at the end when she was pretending that, like, oh, help me, Nikki, whatever. Yeah. And then she turns on her. That was obvious. But I think if it was just a one-time only thing, I can live with that. But I don't want to see Alexa Bliss randomly facing Lana or like randomly facing any of the women at this point. Nikki Cross, fine, you're done. But I think for now, right? Yeah. Alexa Bliss should just be doing what she's doing with Bray Wyatt and not having matches.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like tonight, fine, it was whatever, just to kind of end that with Nikki Cross. And maybe they will continue it in terms of Nikki Cross will try. Maybe she won't. Who knows?
It'd be so odd to blow that whole entire thing off on just this one little match.
Yeah, right. So, but they have potential for that. But Alexa Bliss should not be facing any other woman in the division right now.
Right.
She should really be focusing just on this character because it's working and people do enjoy it.
It is, but once that bell rings, if that's going to be it,
once they get into the ring, forget it.
The Fiend segments are always great until that damn bell rings, and then it's all downhill from there. So our main event was Randy Orton versus AJ Styles, which is a WrestleMania 35 rematch. Not quite as good as WrestleMania 35, but WrestleMania 35 match was kind of marred because those lights were shining right in our eyes.
Oh my God,
at the
that
event.
was crazy.
That took away from the event. That took away from that match for sure, because they actually had a really good match when you go back and watch it. It was
right.
decent.
No, for sure.
This match didn't really have much going on. The Fiend came out and distracted Orton a couple times, and he eats the phenomenal forearm to take the loss. AJ Styles will take on Riddle and Keith Lee in the triple threat match next week to determine the number one contender for Drew McIntyre's WWE Championship. So that was Raw there. Now there were some positives there. Number one, obviously the Riddle versus Sheamus match is just phenomenal. Number two, The rebranding of Drew McIntyre to Drew McInfart could do wonders for him.
Yeah, I think I think there's gonna be T-shirts made.
There probably will be T-shirts made. There probably will.
Does anyone want to get me a Drew McInfart shirt?
Drew McInfart shirt. Yeah, we'll get that for Victoria's birthday.
Yeah.
The live watch along.
Yeah.
She'll be wearing a Drew
I just want
McInfart
to see
shirt.
he's just farting.
and because it will be literally like 5 months later when you start wearing this Drew McInfart shirt, everybody's gonna be like, "What was Drew McInfart?
Yeah.
What is that?" No retribution tonight. None. They done?
I don't know if they're
are they Raw Underground?
so we just never speak of it again.
We just don't see it
And
again.
just pretend it didn't happen. Maybe they took our advice. Remember how we kept joking, everyone? Remember when we kept joking about the fact that if we'll forgive you, if Retribution just dies and does not come back, and we never speak of it again, we won't question why, we won't question how. We'll just be happy that it's gone and we can move on from our lives.
Exactly.
So if it doesn't come back next week, nobody question it.
Right.
Just let it happen.
Exactly.
Don't talk about it. Let it be.
Yeah.
Give it up because it was never going to work.
There you go. So that was Raw, and leave the memories alone with Retribution, Jamel says.
Yeah, see? Exactly. No, Jamel's on the same page.
So there's like this rumor going around, perpetuated by Tony Khan, of course, of all freaking people, that Dynamite might be going to 3 hours. We saw 3 hours. Look what it did to Monday Night Raw. It took it from it wasn't, there was a couple of years where it just wasn't good, from I would say 2008 or 2000, whenever they were doing the Raw guest hosts, that was the darkest period of Monday Night Raw, way darker than 1995 when they were bringing in guest hosts every single week, aside from Bob Barker. That was just a wonderful guest host. Ever since they went to 3 hours, this show has just died. Really, it's never been the same. It's a chore to watch. It's consistently griped about among all people that enjoy this genre. For Dynamite to do that, like when WCW moved their stuff to 3 hours, it didn't do them no favors. If Dynamite does that, you really need to follow the example of Raw and WCW, and damn, just don't even think about going to 3 hours. You don't need it. Yes,
this is a rumorville, right?
It's more revenue, obviously, to have that extra hour, but it's not worth it in the end. You'll lose more than you'll gain.
Okay, so you said this is a rumor, right? Right now?
It's a rumor right now.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, Dynamite, let me just give you a few words of advice here, okay? You, in the very beginning of your time, have you said, "Oh, I don't want to be WWE. I don't want to be this company. I don't want to whatever," right? They ragged, and literally shaded that in WWE crazy amounts, and you're doing exactly what they are doing with the 3 hour Raw. Come on.
Tony Khan is...
Come on.
Oh my God.
Come
I
on.
cannot...
If you do that...
I'm sorry. I can't stand Tony Khan.
No, but I'm sorry.
I cannot stand him.
If you do that, you're literally mimicking and you're falling into that same trap of WWE with Raw.
Yep. And WCW with Nitro. And
what are you doing here? You talk about... You literally trash this company. And you're doing the same exact things.
There are strategies that have been tried in wrestling that have failed and have derailed momentum permanently. Obviously, WCW moving Nitro to 3 hours. WCW adding WCW Thunder when they barely had enough stories to get through Nitro. Raw moving to 3 hours. WCW being bought by WWF, and then that horrible invasion angle kills momentum. That wrestling's never been the same since. Raw moving to 3 hours. Impact, TNA, going head-to-head against Monday Night Raw in 2010, like they had a chance to try to recreate the Monday Night Wars. There are things that happen in wrestling that can permanently damage any and all momentum. And Dynamite going to 3 hours, that's going to be one of them. Tony Khan is... He's the nerdy kid in high school that didn't get to hang out with the cool kids, and now he's buying his way into hanging out with what he thinks are the cool kids. He's a fucking mark. He's a total... He's out of his depth in this genre. You know, obviously, you know, when I'm looking at Alex Reynolds and I'm looking at Matt Hardy, who are fucking unconscious in the ring and unconscious on a slab of concrete, and he's still letting the matches go on. This guy has no control. He's a fucking phony.
It's like this
He's
pattern,
a phony.
you know, you look at this
Tony Khan
pattern.
is a mark
You
who
look
has
at
a lot
all
of
these
money
years.
and bought some cool friends.
Well,
that's all he is.
Here's the thing, you know, this company, not Dynamite, but you know, WWE has been around for a very long time, and other wrestling, you know, companies have been around for a while. You don't put the connection, you don't see the pattern of like where it really went off the tracks.
Right.
Making your show longer, making it longer is not going to help you, especially since they haven't been around for very long. Come on.
Right.
You know, it's not like everybody knows about AEW Dynamite. People, when they think of wrestling, are still very much thinking of WWE.
Yeah.
So you haven't established yourself to that degree where you should be like thinking like, oh yeah, we're so awesome, we're gonna make ourselves 3 hours because people are really going to, you know, like that. It's like, no, really at the end of the day, you're hurting yourselves, you're gonna hurt your company, but whatever. Seriously, let it happen at this point.
Right.
You know another reason why too, they probably want to go 3 hours because literally
probably
they're taking every WWE's rejects.
Well, yeah.
Or
if
anybody doesn't want to come.
It's all everything WWE. That's really what AEW stands for. But for them to move to 3 hours, it has to be that Daddy Shahid Khan is getting tired of, you know, just putting money into this thing and wants you know, to make a little more money than he's making off this thing. So let's move to 3 hours. That's a great idea. Just get the extra hour. TNT will want it because they love live programming. It's like, nah. You're a fool.
Yeah,
if they go to 3 hours,
and then you're committed to it.
Yeah.
It's really hard. Like honestly, like we spoke about this too.
Why
it would be very hard for USA Network at this point to be like, oh yeah, let's go back to 2 hours.
Why does WWE not go back to 2 hours? Number one, because Vince will be like, oh, we're all looked at as failures. You know, we can't do that. But also, all they care about is their fucking bottom line.
You're committed.
They
You're
do
committed.
not like entertaining fans is one of the very last things that they care about. You know, it's hard to say goodbye to that extra revenue that comes in from it. But you know, you could make the same revenue and then some if you go back to 2 hours and put out a competent show. More people will watch, so you'll at least break even on what you were doing with 3 hours. And you might even stand the chance of making a little more.
Yeah, but
this is not working.
Once you do 3 hours, you're committed to it.
That's what I just said. I agree with you.
I know. You there's no way of getting out of it. Not no way.
No.
But you do. It's not even looking like a Vince McMahon. It's
Tony
like
Khan's a little bitch who just sits around and just waits for the cool kids to tell him what to do. And oh, this is gonna be great, Tony. Don't worry about it. Oh, I got a concussion. Don't worry, Tony. I can still go. What's your name? I don't know, George. I don't know. Okay, you're okay to go out.
Your middle
George,
name?
George, you can go out there even though your name is Michael. Go ahead out there. No problem. Enjoy yourself. Hopefully Jericho, Cody Rhodes, if he's really truly thinking about this, the Young Bucks, all those EVPs that they have on their staff will convince them otherwise. Because I think if anybody truly knows professional wrestling, they know that 3 hours for any show is too fucking long. 90 minutes is more than perfect for a wrestling show. 90 minutes of just content, not including the commercials because that takes up the other half hour. 90 minutes. That's the perfect. That's about all people can handle with wrestling. All action movies are, action movies generally go about 90 minutes, right?
Yeah,
there's very rarely an action movie that's not a war epic that goes past the 2-hour mark and even goes into the 3-hour mark. You know, like a movie like Saving Private Ryan. You know, like that's a war movie. There's a lot of action in that, and also a lot of drama. But you can get to 3 hours with that because of, you know, powerful performances. But these are fucking half-assed actors, you know, who are reading the shittiest content that has ever been written for a professional television show. You know, going 3 hours a week. People can't watch an action movie for 3 hours. 90 minutes. Die Hard is not a 3-hour fucking movie. It's a 90-minute movie, and it's perfect.
And when you do have the 3-hour...
That should be wrestling. That's wrestling. It's not hard.
When you do have the 3-hour ones, again, that's special for like a pay-per-view. You know, that's something because
and
it allows
even that
you to
goes too long.
Oh,
like back when they were actually on true pay-per-view, you know, carriers, they would go about 2:45, sometimes 2.5. That's enough. You know, okay, so you have a couple of extra special matches.
Enough.
That's fine. You know, you can go that way. You can go that long, pull out a 40-minute match, whatever. But 3 fucking hours every week. Tony Khan, if you do that, you're a fucking idiot, okay? It's too long. It's like, why? Okay. Like, how does nobody see that?
Right, relax. Jeez.
Just saying.
Why are you shaking your microphone, you crazy person?
Just saying. It's too damn long.
Chill.
Taxes are too damn high.
Will you chill the hell out, please?
I'm fine.
I don't think you are.
I'm fine.
I think you need a nap.
I am still in a good mood because the holidays are upon us. What is that?
Oatmeal? Does anyone want any?
What are you doing? Are you like... Okay, I think we had enough here. All right. Anyway, everybody, I'm gonna regain composure here, and we just want to say before we check off here, you know, in America at least, Thanksgiving is this Thursday.
Canada already had theirs.
It's going to be a little different than the Thanksgiving that we're used to, obviously, but we have to say, you know, however it is that you celebrate this day, if you're celebrating Thanksgiving on Thursday, we wish you a happy and safe holiday. We hope that you and your families all stay safe and avoid this insidious plague that is still burdening us. And we also, I think I can speak for Victoria to say that we are, you know, even though I've been down on wrestling and I just, it's been so, I've been so busy with everything else that I've got going on in my life that I haven't been as much of a presence on the wrestling community lately. We're still very, very thankful that we get to do this show and that we get to hang out with all of you people for an hour every Monday after a show that is way too long that I'm not going to get into again. 90 minutes is the perfect length, but they went an extra couple minutes after that. They added another 90 to it, which was stupid, and it's never been the same since. But we want you to know that we are very thankful for our viewing audience. You're all great. Quentin, specifically, Quentin Walters, we are
Please feel better.
Very thankful that this insane thing that happened to you, you came through on the other side. We're happy that you're here with us in particular. So we will pray for you at our Thanksgiving table on Thursday. I promise you that. And for everybody else, we really appreciate you all.
We do.
You're great people, and that's all I got to say.
I was talking about, in class, actually, with my kids, we've been reading a lot about gratitude and how it helps you to put yourself in a better mindset and be more positive. And I've actually been keeping almost like a grateful journal, list in my mind. And a lot of the times, I know it sounds weird, but I am grateful for wrestling because I'm grateful that we do this because I've connected with so many people through this site, through this show. And it's amazing how you make all these connections. You have these friendships now that for life, basically. So many of you have been through all these ups and downs throughout the years with us. And it's like this family, and you really do, especially during these difficult times, you appreciate what you have. Because if we didn't have you guys, it would, it wouldn't be the same. You know, like obviously Mike and I talking about Monday Night Raw and wrestling, you know, it's like, yeah, it's fine, it's cool, but having it to share with everybody else, and you know, and even just when we randomly go on our tangent to talk about other stuff, it's nice.
Mm-hmm.
So it is like Mike and I are very appreciative of all of you, and just for all the support, taking the time to listen, and just having fun.
Yeah, we like fun. We like fun. All right, everybody. On that note, we are going to get... Oh, wait, hold on a second here. The Friendship Frog. Why I am the Friendship Frog, of course. You can't defeat the power of friendship. The Friendship Frog is with us. He's okay, Victoria.
He's okay?
He's okay. Oh, my God. Good stuff. You know, before we leave, we didn't do our thumbs up and thumbs down for Raw.
Oh,
Well, I guess judging by my rant about how 3 hours sucks, I got to give it a thumbs down. Thumbs up for Matt Riddle and Sheamus. Thumbs down for everything else, and everything else kind of dominated the show.
Spat everywhere, by the way.
Did I spat everywhere?
No, I did. I think.
Yeah, I think you did too. Yeah, Drew and Drew McIntyre. I got to give a thumbs up for that. But everything else, thumbs up.
Yeah, I can give a thumbs up for Drew McIntyre. Uh-oh.
So, Kaz, number one, we haven't said hi to Kaz yet. Uh-oh. Let me see. Uh-oh. Liliana's up just in time. Everybody's giving it a thumbs down, by the way, for Raw. Thumbs down. This show always up. We thank everybody. So, Cast2598 says, thank you as well. We enjoy your shows here. This is the 4th hour on Mondays. See, we should be the 3rd hour for Raw.
Yes.
Raw should be 2 hours, and we should be the 3rd hour, not the 4th. We appreciate everybody.
Have a good night, everyone.
Everybody, happy Thanksgiving. We're all going to take off here. So I'm Mike Tedesco, editor-in-chief of Wrestleview.com.
I'm Victoria Tedesco.
Take care, everybody. Have a
Bye.
great holiday, and we'll see you next week.